Assessment usually has been described as a 4-step process. First, you define the outcomes of the course. And remember, outcomes are what students should know and be able to do by the end of a course. So you want to define clear, observable, and expected or realistic outcomes of student learning in your course. The second is, of course, the thing you do best, which is provide learning opportunities. So you provide multiple opportunities for students to achieve that outcome as part of your course. The third step is gathering, analyzing, and interpreting evidence. So you're going to analyze and interpret evidence to determine how well student learning in your course matches what you've expected. And the majority of the focus of today's discussion is going to focus on numbers 3 and 4. And 4 is using the results to understand your students' learning and improve your student learning in your course. I like to add a step 0, so a step even before that first defining outcome step, which is really focused on your intuition and your curiosity about your students' learning. I believe that all good assessment is driven by intuition about how you feel your students are learning and the effectiveness of your course. So let that curiosity drive the assessment process. So what does this actually look like in practice? So first, you might ask yourself, what do you feel worked or didn't work in your course? Start with that intuitive knowing and start there. Step number 1 is focus on an outcome or a topic to assess in your course. And I would start small. I would just choose one. The second step is gathering direct evidence from embedded assessments, and you're going to support it with indirect evidence. I'll explain what those are in the next couple slides. Third, you summarize your findings and you draw conclusions from those. And fourth, you make changes to your course based on the findings. It's very important as you go through this process to write down all of your steps and your decisions and document what you've done. And that helps explain your assessment to others, as well as repeat the assessment later on if you choose to do so.